Billy Beige here, and I wanted to talk about the G.I. Joe Classified Snake Armor Battlesuit. This is a 1/12 mech, and we're starting to kind of get these more. And I only say that because we had the Void Cadet Vector Mech Suit from Mezco Toys, which was $350, and it wasn't. It was more form over function. Like, it was great looking. It popped. It had where you could see your 1/12 figure in there. Wonderful, wonderful box, all that stuff. Lights and sounds, stuff like that. This was $75. It was a, made to order, plus extras, obviously. But, you ordered it and you paid for when it was actually going to ship. Wonderful policy there from Hasbro. I hope they keep doing that because I'm loving these. Like, even though, like, I did order Dragon Man and then I was like, I'll pass on them, let them go. Didn't do the Sentinels. I'm glad I went for this because it has so much potential, not only as a figure, but as inspiration for future figures from other companies. Now, I say that because if you have where you collect G.I. Joe, you know about Action Force, you know about Bobby Vala, you know the whole history behind that, because we all love to know the inside, baseball about toys and stuff, because it's fun, it's interesting, it's our hobbies, it's our passions. Now, if you have or haven't, he had where he picked one up, did a video on it. He pointed out some form over function things, issues. It was issues with the Void Cadet Vector suit. Like, hey, there's clearance issues here. Why would you make this like this so you couldn't twist this all around? Things like that. I hope that since this is out now, that there is notes taken, thoughts done up, round tables, whatever, and then the next 1/12 mech suit we get will have where it improves upon this as well. Because, like, even though this is $75, it has, shoulder articulation, bicep rotation, elbow joints, wrist twists, ball jointed hips, ball jointed shoulders, by the way, a ratcheting waist here, ratcheting knees, only hinge joints on these feet here. This could be improved, but overall, it's a great figure, and I think since this does do a lot of this well, it's worth getting, but I also think it will be the benchmark to go, oh, let's improve this and put out ours. I think it will do that, and I think that's why this figure, besides it being affordable, and I just kind of love the design, will push 1/12 mechs going forward. It'll make things better. So this was a good thing. Now, just going over some things I didn't see in other reviews, because European reviewers got these like months ago, apparently, but they didn't note some things that I noticed while I was doing this. Obviously, he comes with a bunch of accessories. You have like a missile you can swap out for the hands. He comes with non-articulated hands that have a trigger finger for some reason, even though he doesn't have a weapon or gun to hold that looks like it would have a trigger at all. It's all made of kind of like a harder rubber plastic there that has where it's not going to break if he falls, because he is a 1/12 mech. He is a large lad. If you can't tell by the Devastator by him, yeah, he's big for a $75 figure, honestly. This, oh God, I don't even want to think about how much this guy's going to cost once Mixmaster comes in for a total there. But I feel like I got more out of the Cobra battle suit for $75 versus Devastator right now. Not buyer's remorse, but like, man, good price. Now, the thing I noticed that no one really talked about, or at least it wasn't highlighted a lot, how his articulation works. There's no sheet. There's no like, hey, this is how you assemble them, things like that, which I do think they should include with things that aren't a standard 1/12 figure, because you got your butterfly joints, hinges here, things like that. You know how that figure works. There's The Marvel Legends look like the Classified, look like the Black Series, look like all this stuff. It's a basis. It's basic. You kind of know how the figure moves. This, not so much. The ball joints in the hips here were so tight that I was afraid that they didn't actually move. I was like, is this something that changed? Is mine frozen if I keep forcing this? Am I going to break his hip off? No. The way that the ball joints are done on this guy, because he has ball jointed shoulders, ball jointed hips, have where they are made in there. Like this wasn't popped in there exactly. This went in one way. This was, screwed in, held in there, and it's in there. I would not want to try to force this to pop off there, even though it seems like it might be possible, but I feel like this was built a little bit different to have where it holds, because every time it's going back and forth and around, it feels like it's got a lot of friction even when it stops. Hear that? Every time I stop moving, you go to move it, it has where it's gonna, like that hard plastic on hard plastic. It may wear down over time, but like as of right now, it's very solid. Then it has a ratchet right at that elbow, so you can weird movements with these arms. I do wish that also turned, but it does have where the arm has enough movement from that ball joint and where it telescopes out, so you can twist the bicep, do the ratcheted elbow, and he can basically reach across his body with his hand to the center. There's some $50 human shape figures that can't do that. This does it for a $75 Mech Suit. I think that's really neat. Like the second thing, like I said, was the hips, where I thought they were frozen. Same concept, but I think this is where I'd like to see another company improve upon this design, because let's just kick them up. There we go. Out the way. With these hips, they do the same thing, where like the telescope out, so you can make room, you can have this come down. If let me focus in here. If I focus in here and you look at this hip, you're like, oh, wow, what's going on with that? Why is that loosey-goosey? Well, that's flat in there. This is the same kind of like ball joint that's up in the arm. But since there is no clearance here, this is like maybe like 1 millimeter, a little bit more, give or take, it seems. You can kind of move it a little left and right, but it's hard to get it to kind of go up and down or out, because it's almost not there. I understand not wanting to do it, because hey, if you have where you give a bunch of unaided articulation, unsupported articulation, just a ball joint and friction, it could have where it becomes a floppy mess. But I think this was just 2 more millimeters. You just get it kick out. And if you had where it was a ball joint as well, have it very limited, have it not a lot of space, you could have where it's like it is right now, with 1 click back, the neutral pose, and then like 1 click forward. It doesn't, left or right. You have no kind of tilt to that, no rocker. It's a neat design. I love the kind of like robot boot here. This is dope, but I kind of wish it just had like a little bit more. You could have got a little bit more attitude to it. Maybe it's just trying to go with like the idea of the aesthetic of like, this is a boxy mech suit. It is just meant to go forward, look intimidating, take some heavy fire, and then maybe like tip over if it walks downstairs, But I like it overall. I like the design. I love the price, and I like the potential, whether it be, again, a company improving upon this, because it's the basic idea of a mech. You got your cockpit, and then you have arms and legs on it. That's a mech. Boom. And there's a head. There's like a head thing there. Yeah, that's everything. That's a Gundam. That's a Votom. That's all of them. But I'd like to see what other people do with this. The next 112 Mech Suit, I imagine, will be similar to this, but improve upon it. And I hope if it's Valaverse, it's fantastic. I hope it stays affordable. Their stuff is right now, just saying. But I hope to see this again, because like some people missed out on this, and you know, after the fact you see it and it's like, oh, this is great. This has where, you know, it's got the articulation, it's got the cool price point. It has where it's popped in stock on Hasbro Pulse a couple times over the past weekend. I grabbed another one because I want to try to like make some 3D printed stuff for this, see if I can do stuff for like the hips, or like make some fists, even just simple little mech fists. Just like I'm a hand snob. I like my, you know, gesturing hands. I like my fists. I like, you know, I like options. That's the only thing I would say that I didn't like, was like I wish it had some hand options with it. But other than that, again, great price. If you can get one, get one. I do see them possibly releasing this again in a different color scheme, because if they sold this for $75, obviously it has markup on it. You know, it didn't cost them too terribly much to make this. They have the mold, slap some other paint on this thing, sell it again for $75. I'd buy it again if it had where it was like, even like, you know, like what, jungle forest colors, just something weird. Even I would take it. Do it in translucent. I'd buy it. You know, just whatever you want to do, Hasbro, with this. If you put this thing out again, I'll probably buy another one. Will I buy two? Probably not. But tell me what you think down in the comments below. Did you pick this up? What do you think of it? Did you pass on this? Do you regret it? Do you hope that this, like me, brings about a third, there's probably other ones out there, but like the third Mech Suit that comes out, you know, will have where it's even better than this, and somehow be that perfect form, function, price, articulation, just mishmash, just hits all things perfectly. Let me know down in the comments below. If it's your first time on the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, and thank y'all for getting me to 4,000 subscribers, because that happened over the weekend, and I was like stoked about that. I'm going to be riding that high going to Gatlinburg this weekend for a vacation, and yeah, when I get back, hopefully if I haven't already reviewed the Legacies of Mythos figures, I'm on that, because I'm gonna do those next, because I hate getting a Mythic Legion and leaving it in the box, and I do it, and I feel bad about it, but I don't want to do that with these, because they're dope. The pre-order ends this coming Sunday, so if you want to pre-order those direct from 4-H, go ahead and do it. If not, it should be at the retailers for like a similar price, but I'll see you in the next video. Later, guys.